All right, attitudes in the workplace. I think a lot of people have negative attitudes about where they work, and this is for a variety of reasons. But I think the main one is that they just don't like their job. And it's sad that there are so many people out there that hate going into work, hate what they do. I mean, when you think about it, it's the thing that we do the most in our lives. It's where we spend the most time, it's where we interact with the most people. And it's just such a big part of our lives. And for so many people just to hate it, I think is really sad. And it's something that as a society we definitely need to work on and change. But in terms of my attitude in the workplace, I think a lot of it is you can control your attitude. You can choose how you view things, how you think about things. And I think a big part of that is people need to at least try to change their attitudes. Now, admittedly, some people aren't in the right jobs. They're not, some people are not meant to be in certain jobs. And so, if it's one of those situations, definitely, I think they should try to change their jobs. But in terms of how I view it, it's definitely, I always try to view it with a positive attitude, even if it's something that I don't like. I still try to put a positive spin on it because I think that helps you get through the day so much better than just, thinking negatively and wishing that you were out of here, wishing it was 5 o'clock. And I think just having a positive attitude and putting a positive spin on it helps so much. So, an example of this would be if you work in retail, you work in customer service, if you work any of those type of jobs, admittedly, a lot of people don't like that kind of work because it's, first thing, it probably doesn't pay well. Most of those types of jobs don't pay well. And the second thing, you're dealing with customers. And admittedly, customers, some of them can be complete jerks. Most of them are good, but some of them can be complete jerks, and all it takes is one customer to ruin your day. But to put a positive spin on it, I think one way that you could think about it would be, hey, I'm helping people out. I'm helping people with their needs. As dumb as that may sound, it's just one way where you can look at it instead of saying, oh, I hate my job. This is the worst. Customers are the worst. Because at the end of the day, that type of thinking isn't going to get you anywhere. It's not going to help. It's bad for your mental health. All right. Is the workplace more complicated or less complicated than it was 20 years ago? Well, I think it's more and less complicated, and let me explain. It's more complicated because, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic, with this shift to virtual working, everything being online, everything on the computer, I think in a lot of ways that has complicated things because some things are easier done in person, and moving things online has made it more complicated in that way. And I think especially if you're not a tech native, if you're not good with tech, then I think this move to all virtual and working from home has probably been really hard on you. And so in that respect, it's also made it less complicated because not everything needs to be done in person. Not everyone, should have to go into work. Some people have long commutes. They live far away from their workplace, and in that area, and especially if you're someone who's good with computers, good with online, good with anything virtual, I think working from home has made your life a lot easier. And I feel like a lot of us have been stressed because school and everything has been online, but I don't know, personally I feel like it's made my life less complicated because I am one of those people that actually like having school online now. There are things that I definitely do miss about having school in person that will never be able to be replicated by virtual learning. So I think it's made things easier. And in terms of the workplace, I think in the last 20 years, there have been so many technological developments that it's made things so much easier for people. Like if you have an online business, you're able to ship something to someone halfway across the world so much easier than it was 20 years ago. And it's also made the information that you used to have to go to books for, you used to have to go to encyclopedias, libraries for, all of that's online. And in that way, it's made the workplace and school, it's made it less complicated. All right, my personal job satisfaction is actually quite high, and here's why. I own my own business. What I do is I'll go to thrift stores and I'll buy their men's formal wear. I'll buy their men's suits, men's blazers, things like that. I usually buy them for a few dollars, $5, sometimes even as low as $1. And what I'll do is I'll take them home and I will list them on eBay, on my eBay store, and I can sell them for upwards of 40, 50, $60, sometimes even getting in the hundreds and 200s. And so it's definitely a profitable venture for me in that way. And the thing that I definitely like about it the most is I can literally work whenever I want. I can make time for it or I cannot make time for it. There's no schedule, there's nothing saying that I have to be in at this time. And I love the flexibility of it so much. And it has just blessed me in so many different ways because I feel like I have more opportunities than most people my age. Like, one thing that's really helped me is if I'm slammed with homework for a week or two, I can just not work and just focus on school for that 1 or 2 weeks and just get through it. Because, I mean, I still have to do little day-to-day things, like I have to ship out orders, answer customer questions, but I mean, that may take a total of 30 minutes out of my day. So, it's not very much of my time at all. I mean, that's stuff that I have to do every day, but I don't have to list suits every day. I don't have to do anything like that. That's more time intensive. But so that's my venture that I'm working on right now. I've been working on that since I was 14. But I have had a job in the past. I used to work at Chick-fil-A, and honestly, I loved working there. Everyone there was super nice. The stereotype is true. Even my managers, I know people complain about having just terrible managers. I mean, it's probably just a one-off. It's probably not like this everywhere, but my managers were awesome. I love them. They treated me so well. And so even with being a fast food worker, which are notorious for not getting paid a lot, I still had a very high job satisfaction because my coworkers were great, my bosses were great, and honestly, the work wasn't that hard. It, I mean, we obviously went through times where we were busy. It was stressful. It was taxing, but it wasn't anything that was too bad. And honestly, my job satisfaction at that job was super high. The only downside about it was the fact that it wasn't flexible. It definitely was not as flexible as my eBay store. And you have a schedule. You have to go in. You have to be on time. And I also found that I would miss out on things because I would work weekends a lot of the times. So my friends were going out. I couldn't go out because I had to work. It was taking time and money away from my eBay store because I had to work at Chick-fil-A while also doing that. So my sales went down. So I lost money in that way, but I was getting money from Chick-fil-A. So I only ended up working there 7 months, but my job satisfaction was really high. And I think a part of that was, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, that my attitude towards it was always good and good from the beginning. I mean, I love Chick-fil-A. I mean, I can eat there. I ate there all the time. We got free food on our breaks, and I never ever got the feeling that, oh, I'm sick of this. I don't want this. I loved it every day, and yeah.